You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. When Brian Kelly met with the media on Tuesday, he did update some of the battles on the offensive line, and there seems to be clarity at one position anyway, and that's snapping the football. Here was Brian Kelly earlier this week.
We're still moving some pieces around. I can tell you that, the good part is Garrett Dellinger has really settled in at the center position. I think, it was it last week where, I was pretty vocal about the snaps. He's really settled in nicely since that day and has taken ownership at that position and has been extremely consistent. So we feel really good there at the center position. We've been working Bradford at some guard position, but as you know earlier, he's played a lot of tackle. So that's given Cam Wire some opportunity there. I think what we're looking for is some key backup situations. I think we've got a pretty good sense of the 5-6 guys, and now it's about getting that seventh, maybe 8th guy. But I think we feel pretty comfortable with knowing that we've got 7-8 guys, and that's going to be our rotation.
So 7-8 guys, that's the rotation. And you heard him say there, kind of in the Dellinger has established himself as center, but you heard him say, Bradford at guard, which has allowed us to play Cam Wire at tackle. So I think he's kind of tipping his hand a little bit at this point. I'll tell you, if there is a big disappointment, and I want to be clear, I really always try to make sure I don't call out college athletes. I don't mean for it to be insulting, so I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this so it doesn't come across in too negative a sense. I certainly, let's just say it this way, I was pulling for Charles Turner this year. It's rare that a guy sits and waits until his 4th year for an opportunity to play. Typically, if you haven't cracked that rotation by your 3rd year, most guys transfer. They transfer because you've now had 2 more years of classes, recruiting classes behind you of really good players ready to take your spot. So if you're not playing by year 3, it's probably not going to happen. There are exceptions. The one that I've pointed out so frequently is Lloyd Cushingberry, who was literally the last guy in the class. He was a signing day addition when they just had an extra spot. They added him from Dutchtown, and he sat and waited his turn. And they went into spring, going into the 2018 season, and it was very much up in the air, and he just put a stranglehold on that job in spring and never let it go, became a 2-year starter, got drafted, started as a rookie in the NFL. So it's possible that guys develop later. Some guys just aren't ready at 18, but by the time they're 21, they're ready to roll. And, I mean, that was the case with Cushingberry, and I was kind of hoping it would be the case with Charles Turner as well. But unfortunately, talking about a redshirt junior guy, 4th year in the program, and Garrett Dellinger, a true sophomore who's never snapped the ball, wins that job. So on one hand, it's a tip of the cap and an attaboy to Dellinger for being versatile enough. And keep in mind, Garrett Dellinger was not available in the spring. He had shoulder surgery. So this dude wasn't even snapping the football in the spring. Hey, this is brand stinking new for him. And he's won that job, which is phenomenal to see. So I mean, that's the great part of it. I mean, that's the positive. The disappointment certainly is Turner, who it seemed like this was going to be his opportunity, and it doesn't look like it's going to work out for him. So I'm kind of looking at that first 5, and it seemed like they were set, man. The whole first 2 weeks of camp, they ran up that same first unit every single day, where you started with Will Campbell, and then went Tremont Shorts, Dellinger, and then you had Miles Frazier at right guard and Anthony Bradford at right tackle. And I'm the one who asked Brian Kelly the question a couple of weeks ago if his 5 were set, and he said no, we're gonna change it up a little bit, and they did this past weekend. And we saw Miles Frazier move to left guard. We saw Cam Wire go in at right tackle. They kicked Bradford down to right guard, and I think that's going to be their starting 5, especially when you think about what Brian Kelly just said. The two certainties locked in right now. Will Campbell's your left tackle. Garrett Dellinger's your center. And if you're going to start with two positions, I'd want you to start with those. They're the two most important positions on the line. The left tackle, we all know, you protect the quarterback's blind side. And the center, is the only player aside from the quarterback that touches the ball on every play and makes all the calls. So those are the two most important positions. If you say, all right, where are you going to start? I want to start with those two. So you got center, you got left tackle solidified. Yeah, it's a true freshman and a guy that has never played the center position ever. But those are two really talented guys, maybe your two most talented linemen with the highest ceiling. So let's see if they can go make it happen. I would tell you, if you're asking the question, okay, who are the next best three? If the objective is get your best 5 linemen on the field in whatever combination, Dellinger and Campbell starting there at center, left tackle, respectively, is a great place to start. But considering Tremont Shorts is the guy they kicked out, I think that's pretty telling. And they kept Bradford and Frazier on the field just in different spots. I think that tells you they want those two guys on the field. They're in their best 5, along with, I think they feel, Cam Wire. And then Shorts is your 6th guy who can play either guard or tackle. Played tackle at East Tennessee State. They've had him at guard so far. So if I had to pick it right now, I'd tell you from left to right, they're going to run it out there. Campbell at left tackle, Frazier at left guard, Dellinger at center, Bradford at right guard, and Cam Wire at right tackle. I'll remind you about Bradford. Anthony Bradford last year started the UCLA game at right guard. He started the season opener on the road in the Rose Bowl at right guard last year. So, and then they had a revolving door at left tackle. And Bradford played a handful of games at left tackle and obviously ran into some off-field stuff and ended up not playing the back end of the season. But Bradford can play guard or tackle, but I like him on the interior. And if you could put Cam Wire, who's got experience at right tackle, at left tackle, kick him over to right, I like that a lot, considering those two guys have played together, Bradford and Wire. So you put two guys on the right side that are veteran guys, experienced, they've played together. I like that lineup, and I think that's the one they're going to run out. And I'll say this again, y'all. The offensive line for me is my single biggest concern on this entire roster. There are certainties. You're really good at receiver. You're really good on the defensive line. I think you got a bunch of experience in the secondary. You're going to be pretty good there. I think you got enough numbers at linebacker to make it work. Running back depth really scares me, but you got some dudes that are SEC talents, and I think you got 2 quarterbacks that both can be pretty good, and you got good options to choose from. We'll see how they go. Special teams is terrifying, but offensive line for me, it's my biggest concern, because if you don't figure that out, everything around it blows up. And whether you think John Emery or Noah Cain or Armani Goodwin are going to be really good running backs, don't matter if the line can't block for him. You may think Kayshon Boutte is going to have an All-American caliber season, and I think he's certainly capable of. He's the best receiver in college football. But if the quarterback can't stand upright to deliver him the football, it don't matter. So, the fact that you got a true freshman left tackle, a sophomore center who's never played the position in his life, some guys that played tackle last year that are now playing guard, guy moving from left tackle to right tackle. You got 5 dudes playing positions that they weren't playing a year ago, and all trying to figure it out together. So, yeah, I'm terrified. But I also think that's one of the primary reasons why Miles Brennan isn't here anymore, because this coaching staff knows, especially with this offensive line, they got to have a mobile quarterback. They have to have a guy that can make plays with his feet if things break down, that can extend plays or tuck the ball and run. And so that's a reason why I think Jaden Daniels and his explosive running ability is going to get the first snap, and he's going to benefit from it. And hopefully erase some of these offensive line deficiencies the way Joe Burrow did so effectively in 2019. So they're getting closer. The good news is Garrett Dellinger has solidified that job. So the 2 most important positions on the offensive line at this point, you've got those locked, loaded, and ready to go for the season opener against Florida State a week from Sunday. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.